This is flip video 12A, the Cold War, and in this flip video we're going to talk very briefly about the origins of this conflict between the United States and the Soviet Union. Now, first of all, what is a Cold War? Well, a hot war, or your traditional war, is fought between two armies. You have troops and bullets and guns and missiles and all that. Now, a Cold War stops short of that. Two sides threaten each other, use propaganda against each other, but never reach what we think of as traditional warfare, what you picture in your head as traditional warfare, although they did come close and they did fight indirectly with each other. So we're going to talk about the two sides, what they believed, and how this event started. Now remember, after World War II, the United States and the Soviet Union were in a position to dominate world affairs. The United States held the upper hand after it successfully developed and tested the atomic bomb with the Manhattan Project and used the atomic bomb on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The two countries had wildly competing ideologies. They were very different. They had very different belief systems. On one side, you had the capitalist and democratic United States, and on the other side, you had the Communist Soviet Union. Now, here we just have a basic kind of outline of the belief systems, the values of each side. Now, this is kind of oversimplified, and it's not to say that people in the Soviet Union, or some people in the Soviet Union, didn't believe in freedom, or people in the United States didn't believe in equality. But this is just an easy way to think of it. So with the Soviet Union, you have a communism or socialism where the economy is controlled and planned by the government. A classless society in communism is the end goal, a society with no classes. On the other hand, you have capitalism of the United States, private control of the economy. Competition is good, laissez-faire. Competition results in different classes. I mean, you live in the United States, you understand that we have different classes of people. A full equality for all is not the end goal. The Soviet Union was a totalitarian government. It was a government led by a dictator, the first dictator being Joseph Stalin. Total control over many aspects of citizens' lives. The United States is a democracy or a republic, government by the people, citizens elect their leaders. Again, the Soviet Union values equality, food, homes, education, jobs for all people. The United States values freedoms, freedom of speech, press, business. Soviet Union, collectivism is one of the values, emphasizes the need for people to work together for the benefit of everyone. Everyone puts in the same, everyone gets the same benefits. On the other hand, in the United States, individualism is more highly prized, emphasizes hard work and doing things on your own. Competition is good. Again, the best are rewarded for their efforts. Now, after World War II, an Iron Curtain separated Eastern and Western Europe. Now, there wasn't literally an Iron Curtain. The term goes back even before the Cold War, but Winston Churchill, in a speech in 1946, said an Iron Curtain has descended across the continent. And that's just representative of, the two different systems that were in existence. On the one hand, in Eastern Europe, you had communism and totalitarianism, in purple here. In Western Europe, capitalism and democracy. The two leaders immediately after World War II were Harry Truman and Joseph Stalin. Now, in an effort to promote and protect their respective ways of life, the two superpowers kind of organize themselves into treaties or alliances. The first in blue here is NATO, which is a North Atlantic Treaty Organization, and that was an alliance of democratic countries. You can see again in blue. The U.S. was also a founding member of the United Nations, a replacement of the failed League of Nations, which the United States was not a member of. Now, in red, we have the Warsaw Pact, led by the Soviet Union, with a treaty signed by 8 communist countries. Now, countries in Eastern Europe that became communist and were influenced by the Soviet Union were called Soviet satellites. Together, they were known by the NATO countries as a Soviet bloc of countries. Containment is going to be the foreign policy that the United States adapts moving forward, and containment just says that communism can't be allowed to spread beyond its current borders. Now, there were a couple different approaches we took toward containment. The first is the Truman Doctrine, which promised economic and military help to any nation threatened by communism. This was after Turkey and Greece were pressured by the USSR, and you can see Turkey and Greece, I'll go all the way back here, are right here, so they're kind of right on the border of that Iron Curtain. So after we gave the support to those two countries, it worked. They didn't turn communist. The Marshall Plan offered $13 billion to help rebuild Europe. It worked as well. By 1952, Europe recovered and communism never took hold. Remember, our thought process was if Europe is beaten up and struggling, communism might be able to take hold in those European countries. Now, an easy way to remember the Truman Doctrine: T as in tanks, military aid to Turkey and Greece; M as in money, Marshall Plan. Okay. Finally, after World War II, Germany was divided into West Germany here with British, French, and American occupation zones. Eventually they would take control of themselves. And East Germany, which was occupied by the USSR. Berlin, the capital of Germany, was also divided. You can see it's located inside the Soviet zone. And again, we have the French, British, and American occupation zones. Now that's going to lead to some trouble, Berlin being in East Germany and being divided and being surrounded by Soviet control. But we'll talk about that in the next video. Thank you.